Hey, friends. This is Martine Williams, and I am obsessed with all things Mompreneur life and helping you to remix your priorities, your habits, your mindsets, and yes, even your relationships so that you can build a successful business without losing yourself in the process. I'm also obsessed with the color turquoise and lyrics of the 80s and 90s, but that's beside the point. Girlfriend, you don't have to hustle 24/7, 365 and continue to sacrifice your health, your relationships, and your sanity to be a successful mompreneur. As a small town girl living in a lonely world to a six-figure mompreneur, I am here to teach you how. There is a better way, and this podcast is your one-stop shop for all of the how-tos, the encouragement, the life hacks, the success tips, and of course, a little side of tough love. This is the Mompreneur Life Remixed podcast. So let's do this. Welcome back, friends, to the Mompreneur Life Remixed podcast. This is your CEO, your Chief Encouragement Officer, Martine. And today I want to talk to you about the word no. This two-letter word that is so powerful, yet we are not comfortable using it. We're not comfortable saying it. We don't even love hearing that word, no. And just me talking about no. What are the emotions that are brought up for you as you're hearing that right now? The last 2 years, I have really tried to share this message of November, which is a time to start saying no to the people, the places, and the things that are no longer serving you in the life that you are trying to design. That's not my original quote. That's not my original idea, but it's just very, very concise into what no really means and what saying no can actually do for you. And it's such a simple concept, yet it's just not easy, or we would be doing that more, right? You would be saying no more if you realize the power of this two-letter word and the power not only that it gives you, but gives other women, other people the opportunity to say no as well, to put down that badge of honor that we wear called busy or Miss Dependable or Mr. Dependable, because I know I have some men that listen to this podcast as well. But what can you be saying no to right now as we enter in the holiday season that is not serving you, serving your family, or the life that you are trying to design? Saying no is a complete sentence. And I'm going to talk about that in just a few minutes, but saying no is a complete sentence. Saying no doesn't make you or I a mean person. It doesn't. But that's the belief that we have so strongly ingrained or have been conditioned to believe, especially as women. And if you're a people pleaser, you're probably breaking out in hives right now. But I'm a recovering people pleaser, so I get you, no judgment whatsoever. Saying no doesn't mean that you are selfish. I have been called selfish for saying no. And that was really hard to hear, but I was super clear in that moment on what was really important to me at that time and in that season. And so that's really the first step in helping you to be able to say no more often, is to be able to clearly define what it is that you want. So then, you know, when something comes up or opportunities arise, you're able to say no in confidence because it doesn't fit the alignment or the desire or the life that you're trying to create for yourself and for your family. Saying no doesn't mean that your intentions are to let other people down. That's a belief system that I held on to for a very long time, was I'm going to let them down if I say no. They're going to think that I don't want to be helpful, like all the negative self-talk around being able to say no. But that doesn't mean that our intentions are to let anyone down. Most of us are super aware of not letting people down. Saying no does help you to honor your own priorities, to establish the boundaries, and then be able to say yes to what matters most. And as a coach for, over 14 years now, that is something that I try to really get ingrained in my client's head. What is it that is most important to you right now? And seasons change. I mean, when my kids were little, there were other things that were most important to me, that were most important to them. And now they're teenagers and, they don't want to be with me for longer than an hour. So, things have changed. And so it could be a no for now, but a yes later. But if we don't get crystal clear on what it is that we really, really want for our businesses as an entrepreneur, for our families, for our marriages, for our parenting, our relationships, then it's just so easy to kind of go with the culture and say yes to things that you see everybody else saying yes to. And your first sign is this like unsettling, this overwhelm, discontentment, like just the joy's not there. The joy is not there. That's a sign to pause and reflect and kind of dig deep into what the root cause is. Is it you're trying to keep up with all the other, your friends who are doing things that you see them doing for their families this holiday season, or maybe it's just something that you've always done. And now for this season, it just needs to be a no. And I want to give you permission today. If you don't hear anything else, I really want to give you permission to say no to those things that are not getting you closer to your goals. Because if they're not getting you closer to your goals, they're taking you further away. So it is a very powerful word. And most of the time when it comes to our schedules, it's not a question of whether we can, it's whether we should. Will it serve us? Will it serve our family? Will it serve how we want our life to be, or what you're being called to do in this season? And I keep coming back to seasons. I've said that in several episodes because what I find in coaching is we kind of have this all or nothing mentality. Like we have to always do it or never do it. And instead of looking at life, and especially as a mom who owns her own business, there are seasons even within the year where I have to dial up and say yes more to the business and say no to some of the other roles that I play. Even some things as mom, there are times where I need my kids to help a little bit more, and they know I'm going to be working a little bit more. And there are times where I can dial it down. And that's where I talk about having harmony between your business and your life. It's not a 50-50 balance ever. So you've heard me talk about that more on other episodes. But learning to say no not only could save you time, but it can save you your life. It can save you your marriage, your relationship with your kids, and your sanity. Like that's how important this is. I can't tell you the number of women that I see walking around with just this zombie look, just no joy, completely burned out. And there is something that they can do about it. They can't change everything. We can't change everything overnight, but we got ourselves in that position 9 times out of 10 because of our schedules and what we've allowed in. So what are you packing? And I love to share this story. I read it from a friend of mine's book, Carrie Wilkerson. It's called The Barefoot Executive. And she talks about these 2 men who were on their lunch break, and the one guy opens up his lunch and he's like, oh my goodness, peanut butter and jelly again. He said, every so often I would love to have like ham and cheese or, a roast beef sandwich or just something different. But every day when I open up my lunch, it's a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. And so his friend says, well, why don't you just tell your wife to fix you something different? And he said, are you kidding me? My wife doesn't make my lunch. I pack my own lunch. So isn't that ridiculous? Like he's tired of eating peanut butter and jelly. He's packing his own lunch, but he's not doing anything about it. So think about that. The things that you're probably complaining about or things that are unsettling to you are probably things that you're packing that you can unpack. Relationships, people you follow on social media, the things that you're doing in your business that are no longer you're finding joy in. Can you delegate some of those things out? Or can they just be removed from your business? What are those things that you're packing every single day in your lunchbox, in your toolbox for life? You're deciding each day what you're going to say yes to and what you're going to say no to every single day. So here are some interesting stats. On average, people are spending 35 hours watching TV. I would say it's probably even higher now because of the pandemic that we've been in. Watching videos on social media, podcasts, 21 hours a week on social media posting and just scrolling through. 7 to 14 hours a week fiddling, like paging through a magazine, straightening up around the house, surfing the internet. Are these numbers just startling to you? So it's not that we don't have the time. It's just we're saying yes to things that are not allowing us to say yes to the things that matter most. We don't find time for what matters most. We have to make time. And the only way you can make time is to take something off your plate, to be able to use that word no in confidence without feeling guilty. And let me just say from experience, it just takes time. The first time you do it, you're probably going to want to like go throw up around the corner. Like you're just going to feel like, oh, it feels so awful to say no, because it's just been a habit for you to just automatically say yes. You're the yes girl. But in order for you to make some changes, you're going to have to be able to, flex your courageous muscles and be able to say no. No isn't negativity. Negativity is a chronic attitude. We all know those negative Nellies, right? And the Debbie Downers. So no is not negativity. It's not bringing negativity to someone's life. No is a moment of clear choice. It allows you to set boundaries over what is important in your life, who you want to spend time with, and what activities you want to be involved in. And the beauty of this, and I think this is why I'm so on mission, and I know the power of this is when you say no, you give power to others to be able to say no to, right? We're kind of going against the grain, against culture. And so it lets another mom feel freed from being the yes girl. When she sees you saying no, when you've always said yes, just think of the amount of women and just in your circle that you will be able to empower to be able to flex their own courageous muscles to say no. Nice ladies can still say no. I'm a nice woman. I think if you have known me for any amount of time, you would say I'm a nice person. You would say I'm a positive person. But there are things I have learned to say no to. And you can say them confidently and firmly and respectfully without, dishonoring yourself or making your integrity be questioned, right? So no is a complete sentence. You do not have to convince, explain, or justify your no to someone who wants, needs, or something from you. You don't have to justify it. You can just say, I appreciate that opportunity, but it's going to be a no for now. That's it, right? You don't have to go into why it's a no. That's where we kind of get ourselves backed into a corner. Is the more we say, the more we kind of get backed into the corner, and the more we feel bad, the more we say. So say the facts, get straight to the point, and just let your yes be yes and your no be no. Because how many times, and I'm raising my hand because I've done this before, where you've said yes to something, even a good thing. Let's just say the girlfriends are going out to dinner and it's a good thing, and you tell them no because you want to honor your date nights on Friday night. That doesn't make you a mean person, and they shouldn't be upset about that. That just means you want to honor your husband and your marriage by sticking to your date night. So no doesn't make you a mean person, and you don't have to justify to people why you are saying no. Saying no allows you to rest. Rest is a weapon given to us by God. The enemy hates it because he wants us stressed and occupied. I've said before, if he can't make you busy, if he can't make you bad, he'll make you busy. And then you get worn out. And then how are you able to show up as the woman that God has designed you to be, the wife, the mother, the sister, the daughter, the friend, if you are completely exhausted because you are saying no to rest? You're saying yes to other things, but just remember, every time you're saying yes to something, you're saying no to something else that probably matters more. And sometimes we say yes to things to stay busy because we're trying to avoid real issues that we have going on. Again, I'm raising my hand. If you could see me, I'm raising my hand because I've done that. You're avoiding the real issues. You're avoiding that small, still voice that's telling you something that you need to stop doing or something that you need to spend more time and energy on, but it's going to be uncomfortable. So we just get busy. And then we wear that busy as a badge of honor. And to be able to say, I don't have time for that. I don't have time to do that, right? I don't have time to exercise. I don't have time to meal prep. I don't have time to date my spouse because I'm too busy with the kids. That is a whole other episode to talk about. But I just want these next few episodes, especially since we're going into the holiday season, just be quick, simple thought provokers, because going into the holiday season, there's going to be a lot of opportunities for you to say yes. And there's going to be a lot of opportunities for you to say no. So as of today, when you're listening to this episode, who or what do you need to say no to? so you can say yes to you first and foremost. So you can say yes to rest, so that you can say yes to exercise, so you can say yes to reading a book that's been on your shelf for this entire year. Like, what are some things that are cup filling for you that if you could just say no to that one thing, it would give you an extra 15 minutes, 30 minutes. I'm not asking for big changes right now, unless you're like, I'm going all in and I'm going to start saying no to lots of things, because Martine gave me permission to do that. I'm cheering for you, girl. I'm totally cheering for you. But for those of you that have always been the yes girl, this is going to take some time. It's going to take some intentionality, and it's going to take some support. You know, you got my support, but who's in your circle right now that you see trying to honor her own priorities, that you see saying no? I have friends that, like, when I talk about this and I tell them how many, women that I coach that struggle with this, they're like, I do not struggle with saying no. Like, they have just no worries about saying no. Find that person. She's out there. She's probably in your circle. She's the one that's not at everything, right? She's the one that has the confidence to speak up in different situations. Have her support you. And you can't say what she's saying, like how she says no. Like, it has to feel good for you. And again, the first time, second time, third time, probably fifth time, it's still going to be uncomfortable because it's a new concept for you. But each time it gets easier and easier, just like anything else. Everyone's a beginner at first, right? But I want you to find how you want to say no. Is it just no? And that's it. Remember, no is a complete sentence. Is it, maybe your first step is to be able to say, I can't commit to that right now. Can I get back to you within 24 hours? If you could just start doing that and really process and think through, okay, is this something I'm willing to trade my time with my family or myself for? I want you to start asking yourself that. When someone asks you to do something, which is going to be adding to your plate, is this something I want to trade time with my family or for myself for? And if it's not, it has to be a no. It has to be a no. And again, the more you say no, the easier it gets, and the more power and freedom you give other people in your circle of influence to do the same. So I'd love for you to come on Instagram, find me, send me a DM, and let me know how this episode spoke to you. Again, I've been talking about it for 3-4 years, and it's just still a struggle for a lot of you. And I just want to remind you that you deserve to be able to say yes to the things that are serving you, your family, and moving you closer to the goal that you have, or the calling or the purpose that God has put on your life, and to be able to say no to the things that are not getting you closer to that without the guilt and without having to explain your life away to someone because they're living a different life. You only have one shot at this. And one of the reasons that we don't say no is because we think, well, just one day I'll get back to that. And you've heard me say this before, but it's so true. One day I'll be in a place where I can say no more. That is a lie that you are believing, because there will always be something. There will always be something for you to do. There will always be someone who's asking something of you. So you get to decide what your yeses are going to be and what your nos are going to be. All right. Well, until next time, you know that I am believing in you always, and I cannot wait to connect with you on Instagram. So please go over there and find me on Instagram at Martine31Williams. And I hope you have a fantastic day. Talk to you soon. Well, that's a wrap, friends, for this week's episode of the Mompreneur Life Remixed podcast. Thank you so much for listening and for following the show. It means so much to me. And listen, friend, sharing is caring. So if you loved this episode and thought of some fellow mompreneurs who could benefit, send them the link. Share this episode or take a screenshot and head on over to Instagram and share and tag me at Martine31Williams. We are connected on Instagram, right? It's where you will get all the fun behind the scenes of my life and business as a mompreneur. Until next time, know that I am believing in you always.